Well, Gaffer, the lads are training ahead of the final game of the season on Saturday behind you, and I guess you're looking for more of the same from last week's performance.
Yeah, very much so. You know, Fleetwood have been, up until the week before when Wigan dealt with them comfortably, they've been in tremendous form under John Sheridan, but I think in John's words afterwards it could have been 6 or 7. It was an emphatic, dominant performance, and maybe a little too late, but you'd always rather have a good performance and a couple of goals, won by a special goal scorer. And so we look forward to go to Fratton Park. It is the big club in League One. People can say what they like about others. This is the big club. It's their last day of the season, and they'll want to put on a good performance for what can only be said of everyone in football would admit are special supporters.
Yeah, a final opportunity for some of those that are sort of wavering in terms of your mind for next season to show what they're made of in a difficult sort of environment.
Well, I think they can endorse it. They can take themselves out. It's probably true to say that probably none can put themselves in there now in terms of going forward. But they can certainly take themselves out it because it's a real test at Fratton Park. Kenny Jackett's got an excellent squad of players. He's a top class manager, and as we said, we'll be playing in front of 17,000-18,000. A good level of support going down from Posh, and we want to make their travelling worthwhile.
Yeah. Obviously, Marcus Maddison and Jack Marriott played a full part in the game against Charlton. Those two are fit at this moment in time. Anyone else struggling for Saturday?
Well, you can see them in the background. You know, Tavazoli's the only one that's not there, and we could play him if we had to play him. He's at 98% fit. He's got a couple of weeks to work hard before he breaks for his own summer break, but he won't do that, as I've told him this morning, until he's 100%. But the big fella was keen to play at Fratton Park, it has to be said. But we're not in the risk business, we're in the preparation for next season business. Yeah,
and as a manager, when you sort of go and preparing for the final game of the season, whether there's anything riding it on or not, how do you sort of schedule training in terms of making sure that it's still got an intensity but has a fun element as well?
Well, it's got to be a mixture. I think all the way through the season's got to be a mixture, and I think there's no doubt prior to our arrival it was doom and gloom if you lost on a Saturday, on a Monday and a Tuesday, and you have to keep it on a level keel. These are young, impressionable sports professionals behind us, and they have to learn when it's not been right. They have to learn, more importantly, how to put it right when it's not been good. But we'll keep it on a level keel. We're asking them to produce another really good performance. Everyone always remembers the last few games of the season. We didn't deal with a few before it, but we dealt with Saturday. Let's go out in the back of 2 wins.
Yeah, in the past, they haven't really trained as much here in the past, and I guess from a mental point of view, they need to be used to playing in a stadium kind of environment. Is that part of the reason why they're here today?
I think all good teams do. I'm surprised that Posh never. You can see the quality of surface that's still here, but that probably means it's still here because they've never been on it. But I know that Paul Cook does it very successfully at Wigan, and the same with Big Mogger up at Blackburn, and all the way through the levels. Chris Howard did it at Bramall Lane. I think you have to. We did certainly at Rotherham and at Leeds and at Crawley and Mansfield. We always did. I think you have to get used to your home environment. You have to get used to how the pitch runs, how it plays, and it's different to different players. So you have to be more used to it than players turning up here 3 or 4 times a season, leagues and cups, and being equally game time on it to you. So it's something we'll do going forward. It's something we've always done.
Yeah, it's eking out that last bit of percent or 80% that can help you, knowing the dimensions, knowing how it plays. If you can get the extra percent, then it can make such a big difference when you're sort of scheduling your home games next year.
I don't think there's a coach in the world doesn't believe it. It helps you to do it. I think the dimensions of a new surface we'll lay at the training ground will be equal to what we've got here at the ABAX Stadium. This is a special ground for me. I've been coming here lots of years and there's been changes, but the one thing that don't change is the surface. It's the dimensions pretty much remain the same. We need to be used to it, and it's fair to say we'll have a few new bodies around, so we're going to make sure that they come and embrace it.
Yeah, you're flying out obviously next week to meet the owners out in the States. Looking forward to going for 4 days with the new co-owners and obviously Darragh.
Well, I've got a meeting with one of the owners tomorrow. Jason, one of the Canadian new owners directors, is in town. He's going to be at Fratton Park, of course, and so I've got a meeting with him on a number of aspects. You know, the chairman has embraced his fellow directors, and they're a big part of what we're trying to do as is led by our chairman. So, but we'll go out and there'll be 6 or 7 people in that room trying to make some unilateral but informed decisions, and then I'll make the final football decisions, and the board will be left, which I don't know if I'll be part of, probably expected not to be part of at some periods when they discuss the financial situation and what we can do financially wise for player recruitment. That's their business.
Yeah. It's been a big week locally. Teams doing so well in terms of getting into the next step level. As someone who's managed at that level, you can see the success and how much it means to clubs like Stamford and Grantham and Yaxley as well.
Isn't it great? You know, Yaxley are promoted, Wisbech are promoted, Wisbech Town under somebody that's played against me, managing there for many years, but he's trying to become the champions on Saturday. The opposite is Yaxley are the champions. My old club Stamford got a wonderful win away 3-0 or 2-1 sorry in the playoffs. Grantham win away 3-0. Two clubs getting an opportunity to go and win a final and play higher. So we embrace all of that. I'm just so jealous that they're involved in big games at the end of the season, and we're involved in a big game, but for a different reason. It's a big game, but not with the level of importance it should have had on it. I think Portsmouth and themselves will look inside and say, why have we failed? Because it's failure for both.
Yeah, and looking at those non-league teams, it's important to have such a good relationship. I know when you tell in pre-season, you want to try and keep a couple of games local if you can, and it's important to build those kind of relationships with those kind of clubs, because ultimately they're the ones that are going to look at you as an example, I guess.
Well, our plans for pre-season will be ratified by the board when I'm in the States, but you know, there is an element where I've got penciled in. Nothing's in pen, but the penciled in. We're going to visit a few of these non-league clubs. I can remember Chrissy Turner's and the great Chrissy Turner's and it's to be said, the great Barry Fry's bringing teams around the local levels. I was party to it when I loved them coming to Stamford, and I'm sure there's a lot of local clubs would love to join us. We've had a few invites. We're going to go and visit some of them, and next year we'll visit some others. So that's the plan. We endorse local people. I've been in this city for 29, 30 years, not as long as some, but a lot longer than most. And so from that point of view, we'll endorse the local people when we can.